Hello everyone, it's Monday, October 1st, and I'm about to head out to a signing. The Mackenzie Lee, author of The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, because The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy, is coming out tomorrow. So I don't have much time to talk before I go when I'm rushing out the door, but I just wanted to say I'm so excited to go to this, and yeah, it's gonna be a great time, and I can't wait to meet the author of this lovely book.
Are just modern girls wearing corsets, basically, and that women in historical fiction tend to be sort of too feminist and too modern and too forward-thinking, and that makes them anachronistic. And that's always frustrated me, because the idea of not wanting things and not demanding equality just because you've never had it is totally absurd. And there's no reason that women in the 1700s and the 1800s wouldn't realize that their lot is kind of bullshit. Am I allowed to curse? Are there children here? I guess I have a rule that I didn't curse at events, and not just like went out the window a while ago. But yeah, so this is like, I wanted to write a book about modern girls who know they've drawn the short end of the stick because of their sex, and who are very frustrated with that. And Felicity is very much that, but she also, the other thing I sort of wanted to pick apart and look at through the book and look at specifically in her is a complex that she has that I also had for a long time in my life, which is sort of it's become referred to as the not like other girls complex. And so it's this idea that we sort of reward female characters, especially in young adult literature, who are like, I'm not like other girls, I'm not into makeup and doing my hair and that social party popularity, I'm just skinny enough and just plain brown hair, but somehow it's still beautiful. Like, we have this sort of complex where we have to pit women against each other, and where female characters have to compare themselves to other women to show how superior they are and why like the guys like them. And so this is something I sort of subconsciously had for a long time. And I remember as a kid really wanting to always be the only girl in the room full of guys, and like wanting to be the girl who could keep up with the guys. I wanted to be perfect. I mean, really, I wanted to be every token woman in every like squad. I wanted to be Black Widow. I wanted to be like, is there a Lady Leia? I was like, is there a Lady Jedi? There's really not. It's all gray. Anyways, so yeah, so I had this like, I wanted to be tough enough to keep up with the boys. I always, when I was a kid, I wanted to either be the, like we play make-believe, I either wanted to be a boy character, or I wanted to be a woman who like had to wear pants, and she had to fight, and she had to do all these traditionally masculine things, because that was the only way I sort of knew how to process being a strong woman, is to taking on traditionally masculine traits. And so this is something that I'm like slowly unpacking about myself, and still like, it's still something that I sort of have to condition myself every day not to pit myself against other women, which is awful, and it sucks that like the world has made us do that on this sort of subconscious level. And so Felicity does that, and I don't read Goodreads generally, but I looked a little bit at the status updates for this book, and somebody like commented at like 30%, and they were like, this seems kind of like it's a not like other girls novel, and I was like, yes, but please keep reading. Like, the whole point is that she kind of gets taken to task for that. So if you two are also concerned about 30%, that Felicity has a little bit of a complex, it's true, but she's going to get put in her place.
Hello, so it's Tuesday, October 2nd, big release day for books. And yesterday I had my signing event with Mackenzie Lee for The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy. It was so much fun. It was really great to hear her talk. Yeah, I really enjoyed her discussion on how she said that this book came from a place of not like other girls, and how Felicity feels that way in the beginning, and then this book is kind of a journey to her finding worth in another woman and building woman-woman relationships, and like also coming to terms with her asexuality. Yeah, it just made me really excited, and she's kind of described it as like a serious, deep book under the surface level of like the funny and adventurous stuff that happens, and I just loved it. She was such a sweetheart. Yeah, so I got my copies of Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue signed, and it says, "To Katie, my darling," from Mackenzie Lee. She has a really cool signature. I had a talk about how my books were tabbed, and she's like, that's a well-loved book. And I was like, yeah, I just started tabbing books, and like I really enjoy it. And we talked about what like my tabbing system means, and I was like, honestly, I don't really know, I keep changing it. It was so wonderful. And then I got my copy of The Ladies Guide to Petticoats and Piracy early, a day early at the signing, and this one is also signed. So very exciting. Now I got to meet the author and like have this experience, and I have this book signed. Having a great day. I mean, it was a great day. It was a great time. I got lost on my way to the Cambridge Public Library because I had to go walk through Harvard's campus, and like I really got turned around in many circles. Yeah, oh, I also got these buttons to add to my pin collection at the signing. It says Fortune Flavors the Flirtatious. Come on. All right, that's as good as it's gonna get. This is absolutely very cute. And this one says, I ship Monty and Percy, with the ship from the cover of the book. So that's adorable. To update you on my reading, I'm currently working on reading Vengeful, and I'm on page 376. So I have about 100 pages left. I really want to finish this tonight because there's some exciting books that I want to get to. And also tomorrow I'm going to the V.E. Schwab signing. So like I need to have my V.E. Schwab books read so I can, I don't know, I just like kind of want to finish it before the signing. So after I film this, like I'm just gonna knock this one out. And now I have some book mail, and it's very exciting. So let's get to it. Box from Amazon Prime. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my god, this book, I'm fascinated. I love like the stars and the moon motif and the white bird, and like this is like shiny and like slippery, and this is like matte feeling. I have it in my hands. This title page, I can't believe it's, what's this? Don't know what this means. Okay, wow, I'm so excited to read this and annotate it, and it's just gonna be a lovely time. I've been feeling really tired and run down with work, so like I haven't had as much time to read, and like I'm gonna be busy this week with V.E. Schwab stuff tomorrow, but you know what? I'm just gonna slowly and surely work my way through this, and I don't have any plans for the weekend, so I plan to read. My other book mail in this Amazon package is, would you look at that, The Ladies Guide to Petticoats and Piracy. So yeah, I had ordered this for the pre-order campaign and not realizing that I was going to get another copy at the signing, so I'm probably going to return this, which is sad, but I just don't need 2 copies. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is Free with Sandy did a really good book on consumerism on booktube, and basically she was saying that she chooses not to buy a lot of books and she gets most of her books from the library, but like you can choose if you want to collect books, then like that's your choice, like it's your money as long as you don't. I think there can be this pressure to like have a million copies of books, or like booktube makes you feel like you need all hardbacks or something like that, and I think that that pressure can kind of be like self-imposed pressure just based on like what you see other people doing. And I've come to realize that I've bought a lot of books and I haven't been able to read through all of them, and I used to be the type of person that would buy one book, read one book. So I've completely just like stopped buying books unless I plan on reading them. So like I got all of the new releases that I'm interested in pre-ordered, but besides that I'm not going to be buying other books until I read through the books that I have, because I don't want to be wasting money on these books, but I'll happily spend money on the books if I'm going to read them and like have that experience with them. But there's no point, and I've never been the type to just buy a book because it had a pretty cover. Like I really have to be drawn and intrigued by a book to want to buy it. That's just my thing, is I'm just gonna try and like buy as I read instead of buying all at once. And I do agree, I think like the culture of having hauls, like I love watching hauls, but I personally don't do hauls because like I just like don't want to feel this pressure on myself to buy a certain amount of books per month or whatever. Like I'd rather just do when I get packages in the mail just on my reading vlog, because that's a little bit more casual. And there was the controversy the other day of this person's booktube newbie tag, where he's this old guy in his 30s and he's like, I want a booktube channel for dads that read books and have lives and kids, and like I want to hear about books that people love, but I don't want to hear about books that people love coming out of the mouth of enthusiastic 20-year-old girls with kicked on makeup that say that they just love a book so much on booktube. And like, well, as a girl in her 20s who wears makeup and literally talks about how much I love every book on booktube, I have a lot of thoughts about that. I think that it was very much a symptom of not like other booktubers, where he tried to carve out a niche for himself, but instead of doing so in a way that was productive, he did so in a way that was insulting to the majority of girls on booktube. Really, if you look, the demographic of booktube is there's a lot of girls in their 20s that like to wear makeup and talk about how much they love books. I mean, why would we be on booktube if we didn't want to talk about how much we loved books? And I think a lot of the things that he was talking about was just like deeply ingrained sexism, and it's just really sad to see. And he, you know, went about addressing it in just like the totally wrong way. It just didn't come across well to me and to many others. And yeah, there's nothing wrong with wearing makeup and talking about how much you love books and being enthusiastic. Like, that is what makes you you. So what? You love a book so much that you're like overflowing with love and joy about this book. And so what if it's young adult literature? There's still deep themes in young adult literature. You can still be a critical reader and talk about how much you love a book and gush about it and still have meaningful thoughts and things to contribute. Like, it doesn't matter. And this guy just like completely missed the point because he was so like, I'm different than these girls that wear makeup and squeal about books. Like, I'm cool. I'm this older gentleman with like unique thoughts to add, and like, I'm different. And then of course, when he was listing the authors that he loved to read, they were all old white men, besides V.E. Schwab, who wouldn't love V.E. Schwab? But since her pen name isn't Victoria, you could say that maybe he picked it up because he thought it was an old white man. I'm just saying, there were many problems that stood out to me for the video, and many people had really good reaction videos, but I'm really excited to talk about it because I just think it's something that needs to be talked about. Because I saw the video and like, I wasn't mad, but like, I didn't feel badly about myself for it. But you know, that doesn't mean that other people on booktube wouldn't have watched that video and then like internalized that a little bit more, which is just, it's like a personal thing. So, you know, you should never feel bad for doing what you love and being enthusiastic about it. And just because you're bubbly and wear makeup doesn't mean that you don't have something meaningful to contribute. It doesn't mean that you're not intelligent. There's just so many frustrating things about what men assume about a woman based on their appearance, and it makes me crazy. But those are my succinct thoughts on the matter. And I didn't want to make a whole response video because I don't really have the time, but I did want to like touch on that briefly. Now what I'm going to do, I need to get all my V.E. Schwab books for the signing tomorrow. They're all under my table, so we're just gonna have like a montage of me scrambling under my table to get all of my books. Now to go through all of the books that I'm bringing to the V.E. Schwab signing tomorrow. I have a Darker Shade of Magic paperback, a Gathering of Shadows paperback, and a Conjuring of Light paperback. And what's cool about these is when you put them together, they're in 3 different colors, which I always appreciate. Our Darker Shade of Magic Collector's Edition, which already has a signature here, so I may get it like personalized instead. This Savage Song, which is tabbed AF. Our Dark Duet, which took me 10 million years to find in that pile. Vicious, which is the first book I ever annotated, as you can see here. And Vengeful, which is my current read that I will hopefully be done with by tonight. Yeah, so that's all for now. Very exciting stuff going on.
Tiny god, right? Like, I'm like a tiny god, and I'm like, dance puppet. But yeah, right? Like, I'm designing my worlds. I'm designing my world building systems is I like to design different rules and feed the same character through them and see how they would make different characters. And so Sydney Clark and Cassie Blake are not obviously the same person, but they're iterations of the same circumstance, the same near death, fed through different magical systems. And so in one system, you get Sydney Clark, who has the ability to resurrect the dead and lives in the vicious, vengeful world. And in the other, you get Cassie Blake, who has the ability to cross the veil and interact with ghosts. So while Cassie is not an EO, she absolutely is like a multiverse iteration of Sydney Clark. Like, she's a weird, like, not just me, like, playing. Like, because I think that's the thing you have to remember as well. We get very serious about writing. But at the same time, like, when I'm writing a thing, I'm writing it for myself. Ever since Vicious, I've sat down, I've asked that same question. What would you write if you could write anything and you were the only audience? That's the question I make myself answer, because publishing is fickle. I can't guarantee that any of my books will be successful, but I can guarantee that I'm proud of them. And the way that I guarantee that it doesn't feel like I wasted time and that I didn't sacrifice anything was by making sure that I'm my primary reader. And part of that for me is playing. It's one of the reasons that I work in so many different worlds, is because I get bored. I don't want to stay in the same space. I want to constantly be challenging myself and pushing. And so that's one of the reasons that I do things like Easter egg plot, things like that.
Hello, I just met V.E. Schwab, my favorite author. Rude. It was amazing. First, she talked for like an hour. It was like a sit down with her publisher, and it was just a great conversation about Vengeful and like her motivations for writing it. And basically, she talked about how Vicious was about Eli and Victor and their like struggle for control and taking control, and in Vengeful they like lose control and the women take power, which is just amazing. And I love this book so much. I'm on page 407. I wanted to finish it last night and I was just like too tired. I have not been reading much this week, but I've been going to book related events, so it evens out. So yeah, so we had that, and then she was just talking so much about like her upcoming projects and how the Steel Prince comics are coming out next week, which I need to venture to a comic store and find the comic. Do you want to go to a comic store, Alex?
Sure.
Do you want to start reading comics?
I have to finish The Hobbit for the third time.
For the third time? Alex, how many times have you read The Hobbit?
Like 3 times, I think.
Okay, so then she talked about the Steel Prince comics, and she talked about a little bit about The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which she's writing, and how City of Ghosts 2 is coming out. And if you saw on the clip I put, she talked about how Sid and Cassidy Blake were like similar because she wanted to see how similar characters are shaped by their world. And she also talked a lot about like the relationships in the book and like just the power dynamics. So amazing. And it was just like so enlightening to hear an author speak about their work, because I feel like you get a better understanding of where they were in their headspace when they wrote it. So like, for example, for Vengeful, she just kind of made it a continuation of Eli and Victor's story, and then she rewrote the entire thing, and she made the woman characters like have a more prominent role and like weaved all those stories together. And like the end result is this, I mean, this book is absolutely amazing. I'm like just approaching the climax of the book, so like it was great. And anyways, so yeah, and then I was online and I made some friends online, which is always fun. And I had to wait on this line forever and my feet really hurt, but it was worth every second of pain. I got past the line, and now on to what happened. So I walked up, so she said she would personalize 2 and sign as many as you had. So I obviously got Vengeful personalized because that's the book that the event was about. And as you can see here, for Katie, and it's signed. And so I always get really nervous around authors and I like don't know what to say to them. So she just like saw that my book was like tabbed and she was like, this is amazing, and she starts like flipping through it and she sees the things that I've like underlined and she's like, oh, that's amazing. And she asked about my tabbing system, and I was like, honestly, it kind of just like changes all the time. And like there was this one and I like wrote some notes in the margins. And she was just like so happy when she saw like that I'd underlined thing. And like, so I said like, oh, like pink is for things that I love, and like purple is like for all the feminist moments. And like, so it was just cool to see like the mark that I put on the book and to have like an author connect with like what I was getting out of the book, and just made me really happy. And she was just like so happy, and she's like, tweet me when you finish the book and let me know your feelings. And I'm like, of course I'm going to tweet you when I finish the book. Yeah, so here I like wrote the line that I underlined is, She was bored by being called beautiful and then a bitch, stunning and then stuck up, a 10 and then a tease. And on the side, I wrote feminism and I tabbed it in purple. So it's like my feminist quote thing, and there's so many good feminist quotes in this book. It's very feminist. And just like seeing that like I had this experience as a reader and then like the author connected to me about this experience was just like amazing, and it made me really want to just like tab and underline all of my books, because also like when I met Mackenzie Lee on Monday, she was really happy that I tabbed my books, and it's just, I feel like it's common in the booktube sphere, but like in just like the reader sphere in general, it's not as common. Yeah, it just like made me really happy to like have that connection in that moment. And then after that, we took a picture and I was like, okay, like I need to tell her. And I was like, I just want to let you know that I refer to you as my Slytherin queen. And she was like, that's amazing. I go, I'm not even a Slytherin, but you are my Slytherin queen. And she's like, I love that. Like I really like want to deserve that title. And I'm like, well, you do in my head. So it was fantastic. And then, okay, what else did we talk about? And then I talked about how I won this book in the tour giveaway, and like how great it was when it just like showed up and it was her book, and like I walked out of there and I was like, my heart was like pounding because I was so nervous that I met her, but like I was just like beaming because it was just like such like a great and a wonderful experience, like when you connect with an author's work and then you get to meet that author and connect with that author about their work and like have a great conversation about it. It was cool. Okay, so let me show you. So then the next book that I got personalized was my collector's edition of A Darker Shade of Magic, which is also really special to me because my best friend Melissa bought this for me for my birthday when she heard me talking about how much I loved A Darker Shade of Magic, and it was a complete surprise. Like I didn't even know she was gonna get me a birthday present, and like it was amazing. And now I like have that book that my friend got me signed, so and it's personalized, so that one's signed. Our Dark Duet signed, A Darker Shade of Magic signed. Also, like, this makes me want to reread A Darker Shade of Magic. The Gathering of Shadows signed, and A Conjuring of Light signed. I'm just so happy of all these books that I like loved and had such a great connection to are now signed by the author, and I like got to speak to her and talk to her, and like it was just it couldn't have gone better, honestly. Wow, like I just feel so happy. That's my update for now. Yeah, not much reading getting done. Like I'm exhausted. I'm probably just gonna shower and like go to bed because I'm really tired, and working full-time is tiring. I'm exhausted, but it's such a good like bookish filled week, and I'm meeting Cassandra Clare in December, and my best friend is coming and we're going together, Melissa, who we're reading the Shadowhunter Chronicles together. So I think my reading plans in general, because my reading pace has slowed so much, I'm going to read Vengeful, finish Vengeful, read A Muse of Nightmares. But because this Cassandra Clare event is happening in December and it's for Queen of Air and Darkness, I feel like, and I know that Lord of Shadows, I don't know what the cliffhanger is, but I know that there's like a giant massive one, and I don't want to be spoiled for that cliffhanger at the event. So even though V. Schwab did like a really good job of making sure that she like didn't spoil Vicious for anyone. But anyways, so like my goal is kind of like to finish the Shadowhunters books. So I think that, and like I've been reading them as secondary books really slowly, but I think that that may be my main focus going forward. Just have like October-ish and like November be Shadowhunters books. It's definitely different now that I'm working, because when I didn't work, I could finish Throne of Glass in 2 weeks, and like that's not gonna happen with Shadowhunters. So yeah, so just like read when I can and read Shadowhunters, and then obviously like take breaks for Kingdom of Ash and like anything else if I'm just like too Shadowhuntered out. But I just like kind of want to get that done. I have that signing as motivation, and I definitely want to research and like find other cool bookish events in the area. Oh, that reminds me, reading update. I started The Diviners on audiobook because Brittany from Brittany the Bibliophile said that it was a really good audiobook, and I'm like an hour into it, and so far I agree. I really like the narrator, and I'm liking the story, and it's definitely like creepy Halloween vibes, and it's like funny because it's like 20s terminology, so it's like really cool to kind of like hear those voices and stuff like that. So I like it so far. Hey guys, it's Sunday. I just finished filming 2 videos, and these are the first videos that I filmed in my apartment in front of my bookshelf with my ring lights. I have all of my like little things set up that I continue doing booktube stuff, which is really fun. So to update you on my reading, I'm currently on page 385 of Muse of Nightmares, and it is just taking my breath away. It's gone in so many unexpected directions. The world building, like it's just expanded so much, and It's shocking and oh boy, like I love it a lot. To kind of sum up my week, because it is Sunday, I went to the Mackenzie Lee signing on Monday and the V.E. Schwab signing on Wednesday. And Melissa has convinced me to go down to New York City and go to the Laini Taylor signing with her next week so I can get both Strange and Dreamer and Muse of Nightmare signed. And I also am going to get her other Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. I'm very excited about that. I'm meeting so many authors and it's so fun to be like involved in this bookish community and just like go to events, and it's just like I have such a love of reading. It's crazy. And also this week I finished Vengeful like the day after I met V.E. Schwab, because I was like at the cusp of the really exciting thing at the end when I went to the signing, and she like saw my bookmark and she's like, oh my god, like you're right at the climax. And I'm like, I know, but I had to go to bed. And so yeah, like the next day I just sat down and I finished it and just wow, it really was crazy and I loved it. Yeah. And then I haven't picked up Clockwork Princess since Vengeful came out, but I'm currently on page 125, and after I finish Muse of Nightmares, I'm going to pick this one up, and I'm gonna try and focus as much as I can on the Shadowhunter Chronicles for the next few months so that I'm all caught up by the time I meet Cassandra Clare in December, because I don't want to be spoiled. Let's see, what else? So yeah, after that, I'm gonna go to City of Fallen Angels, but then in the meantime, Kingdom of Ash comes out, definitely dropping everything to read that book. I forgot, I'm also reading an audiobook. I'm reading The Diviners by Libba Bray. I've been listening to it on my commute, and it's definitely giving me all the spooky October vibes, and I'm really liking the narrator. The voices she does is good, and just like it's funny hearing all of the 20s slang. I like really like it like that. I'm on chapter 25 of 181. That's a lot of chapters. I don't think I've ever heard of a book with that many chapters. Okay, so I'm still very much in the beginning, but that's many chapters. I think that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading vlog, and let me know what you guys read this week, and have some fun, read some books, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.